Hello everyone, I'm Tidgney, or GTP Tidgney. Most of you know me already as Tidgney, or with some abbreviation in front of Tidgney anyway. This is the long-awaited guide for the qualifying round in GT Academy 2012. It's a 370Z on the twin rings of Motegi. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but it's the short course, it's not the full course. And the top time at the moment is a 1:30.9. This lap that I'll be doing the tutorial on is a 1:31.197. I wasn't doing too well in the midweek, but that's because I was working at the same time and then commuting home, and then by the time I get home I'm very tired. So I was on a 0.5 in the week, and then I came on today, which is Saturday, and I instantly got a 0.4 on my first lap, and then went down to 0.1. A 0.7 definitely possible, but that's a pretty perfect lap. A 0.6 is probably the perfect lap, but you have to properly nail every corner, and that's very hard to do in this car. If you have any questions that aren't answered in the video, feel free to comment in the comment section of YouTube, or message me on GT Planet or Ronan GT or any of the websites I post this on, or that you post it on. Feel free to share this video around. The more people that see it, the more it helps people to become better racers in Gran Turismo or any other racing game. Because most of the stuff that I'll be mentioning here today, you can apply to your racing. It's not just this track, this car track combo. It's everything. You can apply all this to any other car that you'll ever race. The things I'll talk about are braking points, acceleration points, turn-ins, any problems you might have in the corners, apex speeds, and just any other issues that might arise during the lap. I'll also mention whether it's a make or break corner or not. That's kind of key to this as well, is that some corners you can mess up and you'll lose a tenth or 2 tenths. I presume most people who are watching this are on a slightly higher time than a 1:31, and this video will help you bring down your times quite considerably and help you get up that leaderboard really, and help you improve yourself as a driver hopefully as well. Right, we'll get started with the lap then, I guess. To begin with, I'll say this now: it doesn't matter what speed you cross the start finish line. Obviously crossing a sensible speed. If you cross at 1 mile an hour, you're not gonna it is gonna cost you loads and loads of time, but if you cross at 99, don't worry about it. This isn't a make or break part of the track. If you cross at 101, which is the optimum speed, well done. You can cross at higher speed as well. When you restart a lap, if you go very, very wide, stay in second gear and just point and squirt the car, and stay in second until you actually hit the limiter and keep all the traction, you can cross at 102. It doesn't really matter though, really, to be honest. If you cross at 99, don't worry, carry on the lap. As I said, this is not a make or break area of the lap. You could have even just done a lap. So as you can see here, I'm on lap 2. It's not very good for lap 1 really. Well, it's not too bad, 31.5, but my average has been, 31.5, 31.4 constantly really. And I might have just done a lap, crossed at 99. I'm not going to worry about it unless I'm specifically aiming for the perfect lap. Don't worry about it. Don't care about it. You can brake a bit later in this first corner and you've solved the issue. And you're probably saying now, well, if you're going faster, you still brake at the same point. You've gained a bit of time, but I'll explain later, in a second should I say, why that's not really that true really on this corner. So what we'll do now is we'll head down to the first corner. As you can see, there's a 200 meter board, 150 meter board. Right, I'll pause it here, and the reason being is this is a general rule I use on all tracks, so I'd recommend you use it as well. Obviously certain tracks like Indy Road Course or Nürburgring, this doesn't generally work. It won't work unless you're in some crazy car which got super brakes. But I always especially when I was learning this track, start off the second brake board in, brake at that point. You can then alter your braking point to that board. Now in this case, if I broke at 150, I'd struggle to make the corner if I was just braking like 100% all the way there. I initially started this, but I came off the brakes and went back on the brakes, and I went from 100% to 50% to 100% to 50%. If you're following a ghost and you brake at 150 or 145, it actually can help you, because if you take a smooth corner, you might lose a tenth because you've broke a bit early. If you go diving in, brake at 120 meters, you're going to go wide, lose half a second or even a second, because you've just gone bombing in thinking, the ghost is doing that, I can do that. That's not true. The ghost car is a lead time. He knows his braking point, he knows how to control the car going into that corner using that braking point. You won't have the idea that he has. You won't have his steering inputs, the full brake inputs, the accelerator, because the accelerator can be used to correct oversteer, and you've just gone bombing in and lost a load of time. So if you just brake a bit early, use the ghost as a speed reference. If you use a ghost, as you can see, I'm not using a ghost here. For me, I don't really use the ghost on this particular qualifier because I know the braking points. I've had absolute insane sector ones, and if you're following a ghost or a ghost is behind you, you're gonna get nervous. You're gonna be constantly thinking, must brake, must brake, must brake. Oh no, I've messed it up. Oh, I've ruined my lap. But if you're following a ghost as sort of a guide to driving lines, it's very useful to brake early and just use the ghost as a speed point. So in this case, your braking point is 100 and I'd initially start at 140 but build down to 130. Now there's no board there, as you can see. That says 140 meter, brake here. But you can generally judge. Now on this particular lap I brake at about 133 meters, which is about as far as you want to go, really, just to be safe. And you really are just looking for a smooth corner here. You're not looking to bomb it in, gain an extra 500ths. You're just looking just get a decent corner. So what we'll do here is you'll see me braking as follows. Now as you can see, I'm about to change to second gear, and in second gear with this car it has far too much torque for the grip levels. And now you're probably thinking, why am I going to second gear? Well, obviously my revs are quite low. I want to maximise the amount of torque that goes through the tyres. But there's no way this car is going to stay stable in second gear, not unless the revs drop. Now I prefer oversteer to understeer, and on that point I'll also add, I'm not using active steering. Now if you prefer understeer to oversteer, use active steering. It's an available aid there, just use it. If you prefer oversteer to understeer, don't use it, because you'll have to adapt your driving style more, and then you're not driving to what you like, you're driving to what what the PlayStation's deciding is too much oversteers and all that lot. So you decide what you want to do. So obviously here, as I've just mentioned, there's going to be far too much torque going through the tyres, so I'm going to get oversteer. Now this is on purpose. If you induce oversteer going into a corner, you can reduce the cornering angle but maintain speed. So basically imagine the car just instantly goes 90 degrees. I can instantly put my foot down and accelerate because the back ends come round. Whereas if I just let the car turn, I could be waiting an extra, call it 2 tenths, before I can put my foot down. That's 2 tenths wasted of acceleration. So at this point you're going to see me drop to second gear. So I'll just play it just for a couple of seconds. And now look, the car is oversteering, but I've now just switched back to third. Now the reason I did that, as I mentioned just before, there's too much torque going through the tyres. So if I put my foot down in second gear, I'm going to get a lot of oversteer and start drifting. And if I've got my foot down and the wheels are spinning but I'm not going anywhere, losing time. Now with the switch to third, what I'm doing is there's less torque going through the tyres, but I'm maintaining car stability. And if you read the description of the entire test that Polyphony / Gran Turismo, the makers of the game, have put, the key to this entire round is stability. If you get stability, you'll get a good time. So I switch it back to third, and your apex speed is 50 miles an hour as indicated by the speedometer. If you drop a bit below that, don't worry. If you drop into 43, 42, you're either A, not got enough confidence in the car to get around the corner, or the stability of the car, which you then need to build upon, or you're diving too deep into the corner and you need to back off and go for a wider line and just a smoother run through the corner. So as you see, I've switched to third. I'm now going to accelerate, as you can see. Now you'll notice there, I'll just see if I can rewind that slightly. Oh, sorry, it's a bit annoying that. There we go, look, I'm at 3/4 acceleration. Now I do that just to make sure, because the car will still oversteer in third gear. That's the lack of grip it has, but there's more stability there. But if I do go 3/4 throttle, I'm still able, there's not that much torque going through the tyres that I'm unable to steer. I still have the ability to steer. Now this is useful for later on in the lap, and you'll see why. But as you can see, 3/4 acceleration. Now that happens, that happens for about 1/4 of a second, we'll say. So we'll just watch this again. I've just switched third. Look, that was 3/4 to full, and now the car is not oversteering. I've got stability in the car and I'm able to accelerate. Now this next braking point, I've never really got the braking point, but it's in the tunnel. It's before you exit the tunnel, and if you turn and aim for the cones, you will miss them because this car understeers at this point. It's the way the track is laid out, the camber of the corner. So if you aim for the cones, you'll miss them. Now my target is always 70 miles an hour. Do it at a lot less to begin with. 65 miles an hour, just get around the corner, and that's all you're aiming to do really. Just get around the corner as smoothly as possible, because you don't want oversteer into the next part of the track. So we'll just watch that here. Now I generally have a tiny bit of my eye on the speedo, because the speedo is always a reference point. It's a nice reference point, because if your laps are consistent, you're always hitting the same speeds at the same points of the lap. You can then go, oh hang on, I broke at this speed last time, let's brake here again, let's use this apex speed at this point at this time, and it's a good reference point. So I generally look at, I know around this point it's going to be about 80 miles an hour, give or take a mile an hour, so it's 82 at this point, and you're going to see me brake and turn in, and the brake is only very slightly, it's just to get that turn going, and I will instantly aim for the cones. So we'll just play that through, as you saw there, and you can see I'm about to start accelerating. Now as I've paused it here, look, I'm aiming for the cones. So at this point you're thinking it's going to hit them, disqualified lap. But as you know, this is my fast lap, so I've got past them, because the understeer of the car is going to drift me wide, and as I accelerate through as well, I'm putting power into the car. And this is a very good trick. If you're going to hit the cones and for whatever reason you're only just going to hit them slightly, if you put your foot down, I'm in third gear so the car's going to stay quite stable. If you put your foot down, it generates understeer, so you're instantly going to miss them. You're going to move yourself a meter across the track. That way you are now going to miss the cones rather than hit them. It's a technique I do use for this corner quite a lot, because obviously when you're aiming for them, sometimes you'll get a good turn in and you'll be like, ah, I'm going to hit them. Put your foot down, you're now missing them. So as we see here, look, got past them. Now I do the same trick again with stability. 3/4 throttle, get the car stable, and then begin to anticipate the next corner, where I want to be on the track, how I want to go. Now this is the make or break part of the lap, or one of them. because you have to remain stable through this corner and then the following chicane, the long right left. Now, as I said before, you can go through at 65 at this corner. I aim for 70, here I'm 68. So I'm a bit behind just what my perfect lap would be, but I'm not panicking. So at this point you want to be where the racing line is. So as you can see, it's this black line is the racing line that it has been painted onto the track by Gran Turismo, but in real life, that where the black line is, that's where all the tyres have been rubbed in, and that's where the most grip will be. So if you're on this line, it's a good place to be because you know it's the fastest line. So we'll just play this through slightly. Look how long I was there on between half and 3/4 throttle, and you know this is a quick lap. So it's just maintaining that car stability. That's all you have to do at every part of this lap. Is stability, stability, stability. You have stability in the car, you can accelerate. You can turn in. You're not worrying the car's going to suddenly flick out and suddenly spin off the track, hit cones, do whatever. So as you can see, I'm full throttle now, and I'm about to instantly do what I did before, aim for the cones. So I hit 73 there, but I'm turning in now. I didn't do too well there aiming for the cones, but as you can see, the car is slightly oversteering. It's quite useful for this corner, and if you're hitting the apex at this speed, you've done the corner fairly well. Now I'd aim for 66 miles an hour. If you're doing it at 61, it's no problem. You're going to be more to the left, which can be quite handy for the chicane. But as you can see again, 3/4 throttle, trying to maintain the stability of the car. It's oversteering slightly, so 3/4 throttle, I can control that. I know the car's going to get stable. I can then advance through the corner. As you can see, look how long I was there. I'll just re-show that. There we go. I'll just re-show this. Look how long I'm at 3/4 throttle, and look how stable the car is. Remember, there's no active steering. This is driver input. 3/4 throttle, the car is staying stable. Watch. Look at that. Look how long. I'm still staying at that now. And I'm aiming for the left of the track. Now obviously, with the chicane, you want the fastest and straightest line possible through it. Now we're halfway through the make or break section. This is the key part. Now most people, when they're following the Ghost, see the Ghost just absolutely fly through there. I watched a video earlier, and they showed a few attempts, and they did what the Ghost did. They tried to follow the same speed, and as I said earlier, you're not going to be able to do that. They know their lines. They know, like, the steering inputs they have to do, the throttle inputs. If you're following the Ghost, just use it as a guide to the driving line. Don't try and match the speeds, because you won't do it. So, pardon me there. What we'll do now is I'll play this, and I'm going to rewind it and just show it again. So I'm going to go to the left of the track. Notice again, I was going to play it through, like fully through, but I'm just going to show you this first. I am still not full throttle. I am controlling the car with the throttle input. I'm making sure it stays stable. If it goes unstable at this point, you're going to hit cones. Cones are the most annoying thing on this track layout, but they're there for a good reason. They're there to stop any corner cutting, cheating, whatever you want to call it. So as we'll see, still 3/4. Notice how I'm dabbing off full and 3/4, and I've done an early gear change as well, just to try and maintain the stability of the car. Because when it gets past 6,000 revs, 7,000 revs, you're getting the full torque into the tyres, and that's when it starts oversteering. So I'll just play this through. Notice again, I dabbed off. I got a bit too much oversteer that time, so I'll just play that through again fully. You notice I got a bit too much oversteer on the exit. Now I don't aim for that, but unfortunately it happened, because obviously I'm trying to push for the maximum of the car. You don't have to go for that. You stay at 3/4 just to get through the corner. You'll realise, hang on, the car's stable. I've actually gained 2 miles an hour through the corner. My lap time's improved already. So watch it again, not 3/4, dabbed off, there we go, full, dabbed off, full. And there we go, we accelerate through. This is a time reference point. Really, you want, where it says 30 seconds here, you want to be here on the track. Just after this white little bit of the curb. I've actually been a bit further than that as well. But you know, at this point I'm still thinking, it's a good lap. I'm close to my time reference point. I've got good speed out of the chicane. I'm now preparing myself for another make or break corner. This is a make or break track really with some of these corners, because it's stability of the car to then a flat out straight, and straights are where a lot of speed is gained or lost, because you're on this straight for what, 8 seconds ish. We came onto it at about 28 seconds. We'll just see that. So I'll just play it through now. You want to move to the left hand side of the track. So once again we're passing this 150 meter board. This is the first board. Now obviously the first time I got to this corner I used the second board again as a brake reference point. But this time you want to brake before this board, not after, before, and it's about 110 meters. So what I'll do is I'll just play that through. So as you noticed, I broke at 110 meters ish. Obviously there's no board there that says brake here. I can't play it exactly. Brake. Notice how I broke? Now I want to stay very wide, and you want to do this on all the corners. If there's curb there, use it. It's quite stable in on the physics in this qualifier. Use the curb. It reduces the angle of the corner. So I'm braking. I've come down to third gear. Now once again, similar to the first corner, you can come down to second if you can't get the oversteer to happen in the car. To just get the angle of the car right, so you can accelerate straight away. On this lap, I managed to nail this corner pretty perfect. To be fair, I can stay in third and I accelerate pretty quickly after coming off the brakes. So we'll just watch this through. Notice that, and that was your apex speed there, 45. If you can nail 45 on this corner, you've got a good lap coming, because this is another make or break corner. People don't think this is a make or break corner. This is a big one, because there's a long straight. Once again, okay, it's got a slight corner in it, but it's a big time gainer or loser, this corner. And I'll explain why in a second when I get to my time reference point, because if I'd have made the lap on the lap I'm about to talk about, I'm talking fast, I'm talking 30.7, and I was shocked when I got there as well, and that's why I messed up the lap. I was like, hang on, this is quick. But we'll just carry on with this for now. As you can see as well, the tyre load, it's red on the front left. That's not that you want the load to be at the front. If you got red tyres at the back, they're not doing their job. That's where the power's going. So we'll just accelerate through. Notice how flat the car is. I'm able to keep full throttle here. Look, I'm staying full throttle, not having to come off. The grass is quite a stable area as well on this qualifier. Use it. The curb counts as track, grass doesn't. So if you're 2 wheels on the curb, 2 wheels on the grass, you're still legal, you can carry on. That was also a speed reference point. What you get, sorry, there we go. What you get when you hit that shadow should be 70 miles an hour. You hit 70, you've done a good corner. 68, you've not done too bad. Obviously the lower you go, the worse it gets. And the reason being, you hit 70, you're going to get more speed at the end of this long flat section of throttle. It's a full throttle, another 8 seconds I would say. I'll double check that when we get round there, but I'll just continue this here. Here's your time reference point, the shadow at the exit of the bridge. If you're just flicking between 44 45, you're on for a 31 second lap. 1:31. Now, one time I was on a 44.4.5 at this point. It shocked me, to be honest, because I couldn't believe it. And it was all because of that last corner. I nailed that last corner. I nailed the first section as well. I nailed that corner. And that's only happened once. And I really couldn't believe it. Now, obviously, if you're hitting 45, you're going for a good lap. Keep focused. You only got half a lap to go. If you're hitting 46 and you're doing 1:33 laps, you're still on for a good lap. You're on for a 1 minute 32 lap. Keep focused. But that's a time reference point you can use if you need to. I'm a bit sad on that front. I can remember times just so easily, weirdly. I don't know why, but that's what I use. You can also use a curb in here, there, which obviously, as you can tell, is the 46. Switch into 46. You know, averagely what you're on for. So we'll accelerate through the corner. You want to stay wide and go in late, because you want to move to this side of the track without losing too much tyre grip. Now, if you use a headset, where your sound goes through your headset, you can hear the tyres wanting to lose grip. If your tyres are squealing, they're losing grip. You don't want that. You want to make sure you're taking the corner as flat as possible with the least amount of noise as possible. Now, your braking point here, I think there was only 2 brake boards, is obviously the second brake board, and it's just before, and I mean just, it's about 105 meters if I was to hazard a guess of a number. And this apex is 70 miles an hour. I've done it at 71, but I didn't manage to get enough speed at the second part of the well, I would call it sort of a long chicane. I didn't manage to get it to the right speed for the second part. So if you maintain 70 and manage to stay left as best as possible, you can maintain a good speed through all of the section. Now, this isn't a make or break section, so if you mess this up, don't worry about it. It's not too much of a time loss. You can make it back elsewhere. So you'll see me brake here now, down to 3rd gear, as I said. Notice the little brake I did during that. I broke, let go, realised I was going a bit too quick into the corner, dab of the brakes, get the speed down to the speed I want, which is now 70 miles an hour. Now I've got oversteer. Oversteer is quite nice here because you want to go left and stay left after this corner. Because obviously it's a right next. It's a long chicane, and the more left you are, the quicker you can do the right. The quicker you do the right, you've got a small little straight, bit more time gained. So we'll watch this now. Notice how I, again, 3/4 throttle. I'm controlling the car with the throttle. 3/4 throttle, it's remaining stable. I can control any oversteer that I want, but I'm not generating more oversteer that I don't want. It's maintaining the stability. And you've heard me say stability all the time, and that's all this lap is stable. Excuse me again there. So as you can see, I'm aiming left. Now I'm going right. Now, if you're doing a really good, long chicane, we'll call this a long chicane, you can hit 78, 79 miles an hour. I've only hit 76 here, but as you noticed before, I came in a bit too quick. Had to dab my brakes, so it wasn't really the best entrance and exit. But as I said, it's my fastest lap. Didn't lose too much time. It's not a make or break corner. Don't worry about trying to perfect this corner. As long as you do it okay-ish, you're on for a good lap. So at this point, I may dab my brakes slightly. I think I do. We'll watch the 3rd camera view after the lap. And I dab my brakes slightly. But you want to maintain 64 miles an hour through this corner. The more you keep, the better the corner. But making sure you don't lose control of the car. That's the problem with this. You'll see me do between half, 3/4 throttle again. I'll just play that now. There we go, look, 3/4, 3/4, 3/4, full. I know the car's not going to oversteer. I've got the correct steering input. I know where the car's going to be. I can floor it. Stability once again. It's a time reference point as well coming up. See the edge of the curb? You get to that point under 1:04, you're on for a very good lap. Just stick at it. If it's 1:05 and you're doing 1:33, still it's a good lap. Keep at it. Obviously, it's what you judge as a time reference point. People don't like them. Well, some people don't like them. Some people do. I do. I like to know how my lap's going at every point. I like to know how the corner's going, and that's how I improve really. And that's one thing I'd recommend as well. When I do a lap, say on Trial Mountain as an example, I remember my split times on each lap, so I generally know how I'm doing on the lap, on the corner, or on that section should I say. So if you can do that, you can then improve online in online races, online qualifying sessions. You can then judge how your lap's going to everyone else and then think, ah, okay, that time I did that, got me that extra tenth, I'll do that more often, and so you can build on that. But back to the guide anyway. Sorry about that. Back to the guide. That's another time reference point. So now we're going to go to the right. This is a make or break corner. This is a huge one. It's a bit like the chicane. This is very huge. This is where loads of time is lost or gained. Now your braking point is just after this board and just before this curb. So it's in the middle of both of them, as long as you're on the right hand side of the track. The more left you are, you have to judge it differently, because obviously the distance relative to the camera is different. So you should be on the right, you know, common logic for racing. Stay right if it's the left hand corner, stay left if it's the right hand corner. This is the left hand corner, stay right. You stay right as far as possible so you reduce the angle and maintain more speed through the corner. So again, you can drop it to second gear here, induce oversteer, kick it back up to third, then you can flat it. You've got a stable car, you've got the oversteer you want to get through the corner. So we'll just brake here. Notice the brake, I broke just after the 50 meter board and just before the curb. I'm now going to brake, switch it to second gear. Notice I trail braked. Now trail braking, there was a famous F1 driver who also said this: a brake is not just to slow your car, it's to turn your car. So what you're doing is it creates a bit of it makes your car a bit unstable when braking and turning, but you can control it, and it's hard to explain really, but you'll understand when you start doing it, and it's worth practicing. On this is just try half braking around the corner. You'll realise the car just wants to step out, and it is very, very useful to get the car to oversteer, not too much, but just as you want it. So you notice here I've gone to second and I was trail braking because the car wasn't wanting to oversteer, and I want it to. I want it to oversteer that tiny bit, but something that I could control and keep stability. Now that's your apex speed as well, 45 miles an hour. I think I drop another 2 miles an hour here. So obviously it's not the best corner, but I've got the oversteer I want, and I'm going to kick it back up to third gear. So we'll just play this through. There we go. I dropped to 42 there, which wasn't the greatest, but I've got a good exit. If you're hitting 1:11 when you're hitting this curb, good, you're on a good lap. Just keep focused, we've only got one corner to go. Now you'll see here I'm about to run very close to the cones, and you'll notice this is that you can run a bit wider on this part of the curbing compared to any other part of the track, so do use that to your advantage. You'll see on the third eye actually, which is the full car view, that I run a bit too close for liking, to be fair, but you know, it's still legal, so we'll just keep following it through. There we go. That was another time reference point as well. The end of the white curbing, if you're in the 113s, you're on a good lap. If you go in the 112s, you're on for a 130. Now I've been there before, I messed up this corner, but that is something you don't want to know if you're on for a 130, because you know that this last corner counts big time, and this is a make or break corner as well. So it's sort of in your mind that you're like, hang on, this is a good lap here. I nail this. I go to a high spot. But obviously you use your times to reference your laps. I'm just trying to help here with the cornering speeds, the braking points, and the acceleration points. So now we're going to accelerate to the last corner, and this is causing a lot of problems for a lot of people, because I'll explain this before I play it. Actually, you're following Tidgney, for example, because he's the #1 at the moment. He goes into this corner and you're thinking, right, I'm on a good lap here. If I turn slightly earlier, and this is the mentality, I've done it, everybody's done it. If I turn slightly earlier, I should be able to gain that tiny bit more time. And everybody does it, and then everybody's like, why did he suddenly gain 5/10 on me on this corner? And you'll see why in a minute. Because if you go too deep on this corner, which you're trying to do, you're trying to cut time off the ghost, and that's why you're following the ghost, you'll lose time because it's a 180-degree turn. Well, it's a bit less, but the principle's there. It's a hairpin basically. So we'll accelerate through now, and your braking point here is about 65 meters. So I'm about to start braking in a second. It's about 5 more meters and I will. And you want to stay left. Now your mind is going to say turn right, turn right, turn right. Stay left. So as you can see, now I'll start to turn in. I've not hit an apex yet. It's a very, very late apex. Now usually on these corners it's double apex. You go in, you go out, and come in again. No, not with this. Because you can get such a nice angle with the car, you want just one apex. It's a very, very late apex. And your apex speed, 40 miles an hour, if you can hit that and keep a stable car, you're on for a good corner here. Now, I think I stay at 41. I might drop to 40, but I've done it at 42 once, and that was a quick corner. And you can notice the difference as well with the speed as you cross the line. So we'll just watch this. Yeah, I dropped to 40. But notice again, 3/4 throttle. Stability again. I want to try and maintain a stable car. Notice as well, I flicked it into second gear. I'll just go back. Notice I flicked it into second gear there. So I've gone from 4th to 3rd to 2nd. I've got oversteer from trail braking, 3/4, 3/4, 3/4, full. I've got a bit of oversteer there, 3rd gear, as I said. Over 6,000 revs, you're on full and you turn in, you're going to get a bit of oversteer. There's more torque going to the tyres. But it's more controllable in 3rd gear. So you'll notice I control it. Now, I flat it from here. That's the speed reference point. 70 miles an hour, the last cone. You're going to cross the line at 100 miles an hour. Fact. End of 99, 100 miles an hour. Fact. You cross that last cone at 70 miles an hour. Going to cross 99, 100 miles an hour. Time reference point. You go past the end of that and you're still in the 127s. You're on for a low 131. That means it's below 0.5. And all you have to do is nail this gear change. And I can tell you, I've not nailed this gear change once before when I was on a quick lap, and it drove me up the wall. Because you're aiming for the maximum revs, and I accidentally hit the limiter, which was quite annoying. But there we go. So there we go. Change to 4th. Quite happy. I know I'm on a good lap now. I don't have to do anything else than hit the line. And look at that. I said 100, didn't I? 70 on the cone, 100 on the start finish line. And that's how you can judge. That's how I judge everything on any track, anywhere, on any game. I find my reference points, and you'll speak to racing drivers. They do the same. They find reference points. You can then keep to reference points. That generates consistency. Because as you can see on my laps, my best lap on this little session I was doing was a 0.4 at the time. Got a 0.5. I can tell you my average is a 0.5 easy. I can do 0.5s day, night, you know, anytime, any day. But if you can get consistency of that, you know you can say what Lewis Hamilton does. He says when he goes for his fast lap on the final qualifying session, you know, in the final stint, he goes, right, I'll brake an extra 5 meters later on any particular corner. You've automatically tried something out to gain time, and that's how the fast drivers will do it. So yeah, that's the end of the lap. What I'll do is I'll start the lap again. You might get the title screen, and I'll just do a quick talk through the lap, and as I mentioned, with stability, the braking, acceleration, and everything else. So what we'll do is we'll just play it from here, and we'll go through the full lap for the 131. So here we go. Remember, 135 meters, brake. 140 if you want to just get that control to begin with. Through the corner, quick change to second to induce oversteer, to third, to about 82 miles an hour to go through the corner, aim for 70 miles an hour. Remember, 3/4 throttle through here, create stability, make sure you're stable. Quick gear change, make sure the car stays stable through here. Lots of time to gain, that's a make or break corner. On for a good lap. Next braking point, 110 meters, brake. As you can see here, very good corner, stay at 45 miles an hour apex speed, exit and hit 70 here. Time reference point again if you want to use those. Go through the corner. This braking point, 105 meters. Brake, turn in. Bit too much speed, I've broke a bit more. 70 miles an hour there. You want to hit 64 here. Anything higher is good. Anything lower, try and work to 64. Braking point, in the middle of these two. Between the brake board and the curb. Accelerate through the corner. You're on for the back straight. You got one more corner to go. Braking point, about 65 meters. Brake, stay left, stay left, stay left. Turn in, late apex, there's the apex, look at that, near the end of the corner. Accelerate through, aim for the finish line. Now I'll let this run through and just say any questions or any tips that you want, feel free to ask. Obviously I'm constantly improving, so I might find out something new, feel free to ask. That's pretty much everything with the lap guide. Sorry if I've waffled a bit in places, but I'm trying to help you also elsewhere in the game as well as on this lap. As you can see here, look, there's that bit too much oversteer, but you know, I still maintained quite a good speed, so I can carry on. We'll just let this finish out. As I say, any questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the guide, and hopefully it'll improve your times. Please feel free to link this to any website, share it with your friends, like and favourite it if it does help me, it helps more people view the video as well. You can see I did dab my brakes there, don't see it on the actual brake meter, just a quick dab, it might drop half a mile an hour, but can help. Notice the loads going through the right and left tyres through this lap. That's where I was so close to that cone. Don't go that close, but because you'll get quite annoyed when you hit it. Notice how I stay. Look how I stay left there. I go for a very late apex and it works a treat. There's that bit of oversteer, and then we're going for the line. Thanks for watching, and I hope it does help.